Hi, welcome to another episode of Lessons with Ray. This week we're going to be learning the Days of Wine and Roses from the real book. First I'll play it with the harmony so that you can hear the harmony and the melody together. Now I'll play the melody by itself. Now I'll play the melody by itself, but slowly. Now the way we're going to learn this song is by breaking the entire melody up into 7 chunks that we're going to learn one at a time. So let's start with the first chunk that sounds like this. So to play this, actually I'm going to play it slow for you first, one more time. And we're going to call this part phrase 1. To play phrase 1, we're going to start with our middle finger on the 10th fret of the D string. We're going to play this note. And then we're going to use our ring finger on the 10th fret of the B string. This note's going to ring longer than the last one. Then we're going to place our index finger on the 8th fret of the B string. Move up to the 10th fret on the B string. Then move to the 8th fret of the E string. And move up to the 10th fret of the E string. And then back down to the 8th fret of the E string. All together it sounds like this. That's the first phrase. Now we're going to move on to the second phrase that sounds like this. Here's it slowly. So to play this phrase, we're going to place our middle finger on the 8th fret of the E string. We're going to play this note. And then we're going to use our pinky finger on the 10th fret of the B string. And we're going to strike this note twice. Then we're going to go to the 7th fret of the G string and play with our index finger. And then we're going to go back to the note we started this phrase on, so the 8th fret of the E string with our middle finger again. Then to the 10th fret of the B string with our pinky again, and we're again going to play it twice. Then to the 6th fret of the G string with our index finger. When you play all those notes, you get the second phrase of the song. Now we're going to move on to the third phrase. The third phrase of the song sounds like this. Here's it slowly. So to play this phrase, we're going to start with our ring finger on the 10th fret of the B string. And then we're going to move down to the 8th fret of the B string. Then to the 10th fret of the D string with our ring finger. Then to the 7th fret of the G string. Up to the 9th fret of the G string. Up to the 8th fret of the B string. Then to the 10th fret of the G string. So we're switching strings a lot in this phrase. And now we're going to use our ring finger to move up to the 10th fret of the B string, so the same fret. And then we're going to make the same move again and move our ring finger up to the 10th fret of the E string, and then move down to the 8th fret of the E string with our index. Here's what this phrase sounds like again all together. Now we're going to move on to the fourth phrase of this song. Here's what it sounds like. To play this phrase, we're going to start with our pinky on the 11th fret. And this is the B string. And then we're going to move to the 8th fret of the E string. Back down to the 11th fret of the B string. Down to the 10th fret of the B string. Down to the 8th fret of the B string. Back up to the 10th fret of the B string. Here's what this phrase sounds like again. And here it is slowly. Here's the fifth phrase of the song that we're going to learn next. Here it is slowly. So to play this phrase, we're going to start with our ring finger on the 10th fret of the G string. Move up to the 8th fret of the B string. Back to the note we were just on, the 10th fret of the G string. Down to the 9th fret of the G string. Down to the 7th fret of the G string. And then all the way up again to the 8th fret of the B string. When you put it all together, the phrase sounds like this. The next phrase of the song is exactly the same as the first phrase that we learned. So you're going to repeat the first phrase here that sounded like this. And then the phrase after that is exactly the same as the second phrase. So we're going to play the second phrase after that we already learned that sounded like this. After you play that, we get a new phrase that we haven't learned yet. So this will be the sixth phrase of the song, and it sounds like this. It sounds similar to the third phrase, but it has different notes. So to play this phrase, or actually, I'll play it for you slowly first. So to play this phrase, we're going to start with our ring finger on the 10th fret of the B string. Then we're going to move down to the 8th fret of the B string. Then down to the 10th fret of the D string. And then to the 7th fret of the G string. Then to the 9th fret of the G string. To the 10th fret of the G string. Then to the 7th fret, the 8th fret of the B string, up to the 10th fret of the B string, and up to the 8th fret of the E string. We're going to land on the 12th fret of the E string. Here's the whole phrase again. And then we're going to play the 7th phrase of the song, which is the last one. So this is the last phrase. We've made it this far together. So we're going to start by listening to the phrase because it sounds like this. Here it is slowly. So to play this phrase, we're going to start with our ring finger on the 10th fret of the E string. Then move down to the 8th fret of the E string. Down to the 10th fret of the B string. Down to the 8th fret of the B string. My bad. Down to the 10th fret of the G string. Then to the 10th fret of the B string. Down to the 7th fret of the G string. And we're going to end the whole song on the 10th fret of the G string. And that's the entire melody. So now that you've learned this, you can go back and learn each phrase individually and practice it. This has been the Days of Wine and Roses. Thank you and bye-bye.